All right, y'all smash the like, get in, get subscribed, welcome in. LSU 12-1. That was fun. Yeah. That was that was enjoyable. I mean, there's a lot to go through from that game. LSU 12-1, a run rule, Gage Jump, phenomenal, complete game, career high, 14 strikeouts, and it was just in complete control the entire night. From a lineup perspective, I mean, they have it in them. Damn impressive from a perspective from LSU tonight. You're looking there, let's see, 2 strikes. They hit with 2 outs, scored runs with 2 outs, hit 4 home runs in the game. 2 of them had men on base. That's a huge. I mean, it was an offensive onslaught all night. The 6-run third was the you could talk about from this game tonight with LSU. To win your first SEC series, we're not going to crown them by any means. The stream's messing up. Okay, guys, I'm not on Wi-Fi because Wi-Fi cannot support the stream. Oh, the Pelicans are losing in the first quarter. Great. That's the point. Like, we're trying. I can't plug Ethernet into my phone. Bear with me. Let's see if we can fix it up a little bit. Here, it was really good the other night. Hold on. All right, we don't want that. All right, let's get back into the game a little bit. Here now, if I could. Lost my spot. All right. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, LSU run ruled Missouri. They didn't solve everything. It's not we're not crowning them, but it's a great step in the right direction for LSU. It's a great first step in winning your first series of the season, hopefully. You have a lot of work to do. Like, in a vacuum, this was a dominant win. That was awesome. You have to replicate that now tomorrow with Luke Holman on the bump. And this is something we talked about, obviously, with, using Jump Holman. Likened it a little bit to Poche Lang, right? I mean, Holman's been your best guy. Can Gage Jump go out there and get you off to a great start? And he did more than that. I mean, it was a career night for Gage Jump. You saw the talent. You saw everything on display. So, great step in the right direction for LSU. Let's get into it a little bit here if we could. So, starting the first inning, I mean, you had a couple great at-bats there. So, Kling strikes out. That was a bummer. Milam hits a ball hard, but it was into that crosswind, and it just flies out. Tommy White gets the infield single. But when Tommy White got the single, Lunsford was at 11 pitches. That's when you had the 2 great at-bats. One from Jared Jones. He works a 5-pitch walk. And then you have Ashton Larson come up, who fell behind in the count 1-2. Fell behind in the count 1-2. Works it back even. After he fell behind in the count 1-2, he fouled off 3 tough pitches and then doubles to center. Ground rule double with 2 strikes. It's exactly what you had been looking for. It was a productive hit with 2 outs, a productive hit with 2 strikes. That was massive from Ashton Larson, and it really set the tone for LSU's lineup. And when you had a pitcher like Lunsford on the ropes, when he had 11 pitches and you get him over 20 in that first and push a run across, that was massive. Gage Jump pitches around a single and an error to strike out the side in the bottom half. You have the solo homer from Brady Neal in the top half. And then you get to the third, and that's when LSU is just able to blow it open. Milam leads off with a home run, solo shot to right field. You have back-to-back walks to Jones and Larson after White strikes out. And then Hayden Travinski comes up with a big 3-run homer to the opposite field. Just great to see. I mean, Travinski's hitting about 295 in conference play. So the numbers are still good. It just doesn't feel like it. It feels like he's really falling on hard times. So to see him come up with that big hit, to see LSU get just a massive swing like that with runners on base was one of the most welcome signs all night long. After Bingham strikes out looking, you end up with some more two-out magic. A walk from Brady Neal, and then back-to-back doubles from Braswell and Kling score 2 more runs. And at that point, LSU is up 8-0. They have chased Mason Lunsford from the game, and you are in cruise control. Gage Jump hits a little bit of a speed bump in the third. He kind of lost command a little bit, specifically maybe with that with his curveball, but boy, he got it back. We're gonna come back to Gage Jump momentarily. LSU, the 3 runs in the fourth were highlighted by a home run by Jared Jones. And I mean, look, you added one more in the sixth. You got yourself to a 12-1 win. A couple more things I want to say about the offense before we really zero in on Gage Jump, and then hopefully we can take some comments from y'all. A couple things that really stood out about the offense tonight. Number one, LSU only struck out 8 times. That's great. They drew 6 walks. That's great. You had every starter in the lineup with a hit. That's great. You had 3 guys with multiple hits. And it's more the guys that had the multiple hits. Like, yeah, Tommy White had 2 hits. That's great. You kind of expect that from Tommy White, right? But to see Paxton Kling get 2 hits, that's encouraging. To see Ashton Larson go 3 for 3. Ashton Larson just feels like next in line at LSU, doesn't he? I mean, that's a freshman who was a top 100 guy coming out of high school, was thought to be potentially a draft risk. Ultimately, he got drafted in like the 20th round. Somebody just took a flyer on him. He ends up here, is not in the everyday lineup to start, but every time he got his opportunity, he just kept getting hit after hit after hit until he forced his way into the lineup. And now that he's in there, he has been awesome. I mean, I don't have it in, let's see, Ashton Larson he's hitting 404. Like, he is hitting 404 right now, and the majority of that has been in conference play. That's what's so impressive for him. He's got already such a great understanding of what they want out of him at the plate. The way he can use all fields already as a freshman, he looks very controlled up there. He looks like he's next in line. Like, he looks like he is next in line at LSU to be that next, just all-everything performer. He's going to get stronger. He's going to develop more power throughout his time at LSU. He is awesome. Like, I have loved what we've seen from Ashton Larson. The other thing that I really want to point out offensively that I thought was huge is, so LSU scored 12 runs. Tommy White did not have an RBI. That's huge, because when you look back at Tuesday and you see LSU, score the 6 runs, Tommy was responsible for driving in 2 of them. He was really kind of the main catalyst there. He has been really the entire year. He's been your best bat. To see LSU have an offensive night like that and have Tommy White just have 2 singles, one of them on the infield, and not driving a run, that's huge. You had guys like Travinsky step up and drive in 4. Jones drives in 2. LSU had 7 different guys drive in at least 1 run tonight. That is production throughout the lineup. That's something you've obviously wanted to see a long time from LSU. The other thing, and this is the last thing I'll say about the offense, and we'll get to Gage Jump. I feel like I might have kind of buried the lead there. He was so awesome. But the last thing about LSU's offense, not only was it constant pressure throughout the lineup, it was constant pressure throughout the night. How often have we sat here after games or on previews or just on the weekend recap or whatnot and talked about LSU doing great against the starter but struggling against the bullpen? And I understand Missouri's not great. I get it. But there's been the bottom of other teams' bullpens have hurt LSU. This didn't happen. You chased the starter in the third. You scored 3 in the fourth, and then another one in the sixth. All in all, LSU scored four runs off of Missouri's bullpen. that's encouraging, and I hope they can build off of that. Again, we're not crowning them. Like, we're not saying they're back. We're not saying, oh, this is the team we've been waiting for. No. It's a great step to hopefully go forth and win your first series. Let's talk about Gage Jump, y'all, because that was awesome. So I think, and this is where I kind of really want to illustrate it. You could look at this and say, Missouri is now 17-22. They're 5-11 in the league. Like, they're not great. They hit 203 in conference play. All of the things we know. Gage Jump could have been pitching against anybody tonight, and he would have been dominant. He just had his stuff. I mean, he had his best elite stuff. The curveball was the complete difference maker for him. He had great command of that pitch. You hear guys talk all the time about the difference between control and command. Control, you got feel for it. You're around the plate. Command, you can put it wherever you want. And Gage Jump, maybe outside of a little bit in the second, in that third inning, could put that curveball wherever he wanted tonight. He was able to throw it for a strike. He was able to bury it at the bottom of the zone on the back foot, get the swing and miss. He was in complete command of that pitch. And off of that, the fastball played incredibly. Up in the zone, down in the zone. He had great command for that as well. But off of that curveball, it was just dominant stuff. You want to know how badly Gage Jump had Missouri off balance tonight? Two different hitters, not one, two different hitters struck out looking on full count on a fastball. You're looking for that. You are looking for fastball 3-2. I know the game's changed a little bit, and you'll see guys, pitch backwards more. You're looking for that. And he had them so off balance that two different guys struck out looking in a full count on a fastball. And then just for good measure, late in the game, he starts mixing in the slider and the changeup. Like, Gage Jump could have pitched against anybody tonight in the SEC, and he would have dominated. He was just in that great command of his stuff. And it was awesome to see. That's the potential we've talked about so much with him. That's the potential that Jay Johnson has talked about so much with him. And you saw it on full display. Like, that's the reason the guy was coveted out of the transfer portal. That's the reason he's going to be drafted this July, probably in the first 3 rounds, like early. It's because of what you just saw. And hopefully that is a massive step forward for him. Because if it is, I really like your chance to win series on the back half of this season going Jump Holman. Again, like we said right off the top, we likened it to Poche Lang in a sense. And that's the blueprint. That's what you're looking for tonight out of him. He was awesome. First career complete game, career high strikeouts. I mean, massive tip of the hat to Gage Jump. I can't wait to watch him go out there and pitch again next week. Against Auburn. So he was awesome. And it saves your bullpen. You have everyone available now to go the next 2 games. Like, you are in the best position you've been in all year to win a series. This is now, again, you have to go do it because we've seen LSU have dominant game 1s in this conference already this year. Florida, Vandy, like, you've seen it. And then they lost the tough one the next day and laid an egg in game 3. So you still have more to do, but great first step for LSU tonight. All right, y'all. Smash the like button. Let's get into some comments from you. Randall Alfreck. Do you think Jay Johnson sticks with this rotation for the rest of the season, and when do you see Hurd again in SEC play? I do think Jay Johnson sticks with this rotation the rest of the season. There's not really, for a couple reasons. Number one, what we just said, it was very effective tonight. I thought Jump and Holman both pitched well last week at Tennessee. You just didn't get the win. But you also don't have another Thursday, Friday series to where you could, like, you don't have another, not just Thursday, Friday. You don't have another opportunity to kind of flip them again. Somebody's going to be on short rest if you do that. So, I do think you go with this, and I think it gives you the best chance to win series, especially if you're getting um that type of performance from Gage Jump. If you have your quote unquote ace going in game two, um, that's huge. So yes, I do. When you see Hurd, and you can see Hurd this weekend. I mean, I don't think he starts on in game three, but you could absolutely see him this weekend. I think you need to see him this weekend too. Uh, Eric, was that Missouri's ace that threw tonight? Not really. Pimental, who's going to throw tomorrow, I would classify as their ace, as their best guy. Pitched for Jay Johnson in Arizona in Jay's last year. Lefty, funky arm slot from the left side. Fastball going to top out around 90, 91. So he's not overpowering, but he's got a really, really good curveball. I'd classify really him as Missouri's ace. It's an ERA in the mid fours. Like he's better. He's better than Lunsford. Parker G. Musso, keep Kling, Milam, and Tanks. I don't know what that means. You'll have to be more specific. I mean, if you, I don't know what that means. So comment again and with more context. Marcel Joseph, who you think gets the start on Sunday? So, I'll say this. I think you go all in here tomorrow to win the series. Like pitch whoever you have to after Luke Holman to win it. And then see who you have left. In that vein, I'll tell you who I want to see start. I want to see Cade Anderson start. And I think it's time. I know he struggled in conference play, but it's all been out of the bullpen. And when you've seen him start, he just looks a little bit more comfortable. When Jay Johnson's talked about him, he's talked about routine, he's talked about rest. He was asked if Anderson's more comfortable as a starter. He didn't go all out to say that, but it kind of appears that he is. And if he needs rest and if he is more comfortable as a starter, start him. So, I mean, that's who I would want to see, but you could very well see Nate Ackenhausen, get that go again too. Missouri's not the toughest place to play in the world. I'm well aware of that. It is the hardest career conference start on the road, but I would like to see them start Cade Anderson. I think it will either be Ack or Anderson. I don't think it'll be Hurd because he threw on Tuesday. Parker G with some context. Sorry, keep the lineup starting with Kling, then Milam, and Tommy. Yeah, sure. I mean, Kling had 2 hits out of the leadoff spot. He struck out a couple times too. He also had another hard ball. It ended up being a fly out to left field. But solid from him there. And yeah, I like Milam in the 2. I think I've been pretty consistent with that all year. I liked him in the leadoff spot or that 2 hole. I just think it fits him a little bit better than the bottom of the order. He's going to see a lot more fastballs there. Not that you don't see them in the bottom. I mean, 8 hole sees plenty, but in that 2 hole, especially with Tommy White behind him, he's going to see a lot of fastballs. I like that for a young player. So yeah, I'd love that. And yeah, I mean, Tommy should absolutely hit in your 3 hole every time. That should never change. Let's see. Joseph Lee, do you think we get the sweep this weekend? We're not going there yet. Joseph, we're not going there yet. We are going to let this play out. I'm not bringing the S word into this. Not yet. We can talk about that tomorrow if LSU wins, and we'll see where they're set up. They have to focus on winning a series first, and then we can talk about brooms. Then we could talk about brooms. Dylan Hess, yes, the jack from Milam. Man, I was fired up to see that. It's he's hit the ball hard the last few weeks, and he's hit a couple of deep fly balls the last few weeks just to the wrong part of the park. Steven Milam's not going to hit too many out gap to gap, but you let him get into his pull side, and he's got enough pop in there. He's got gap power in terms of doubles, and if you have that, you get into your pull side, and you see the result. I mean, that was a bomb. That was a no-doubter from him, and it was great to see him get the first one out of the way in his career. That's always an awesome moment. So, he doesn't have much to show for it in terms of average or hits, but Milam's taken some really, really good swings the deeper he's gotten into SEC play. Really, really starting against Vanderbilt, I would say you started to see him really kind of get confident, and it's showing. So I'm a big fan of him. I mean, I'll throw him into that category too. Him and Larson, like Stephen Milam, should be your shortstop next year. I don't think that's debate. Like he can definitely play the position. He's got the arm strength, like, and the bat. He's hitting over 300 as a freshman. Like he should be your shortstop next year. So him and Larson have been huge bright spots this year in one that has lacked plenty. So that should at least make you encouraged for the future. They're not done yet, but that should make you encouraged for the future. So, y'all, that was a good one tonight. It's refreshing to come on here and not have to talk about bad play. But the key is going to be now for them to carry that over. That's the key. Carry it over. You were awesome tonight. But the next step is to be awesome 2 games in a row in conference, and they haven't done that yet. So we'll see. Parker G asking about Milam. At what point does he just hit left-handed? That's, I don't know. Not yet. I mean, he got a couple hits from the right side recently, so that's good. Like, I mean, they'll let that go a little bit. I think they'll let him keep going. I think they'll let him keep going there for a while, because it's going to take time. And maybe eventually he does just go lefty, but it's going to take time to get there. And he got a few hits right-handed in the last few games, so that was good. And look, we'll see tomorrow, obviously, against the lefty. And again, LSU should load up. They should load up the lineup tomorrow right-handed. Like Larson should be the only right-handed guy, the only left-handed guy in there, excuse me. So you'll probably see differences there, but maybe not. Maybe they'll run it back, considering they had 12 runs on 13 hits. All right. Y'all smash the like button, share, subscribe, all those things. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate you sticking through the stream problems. I'm glad it improved. Hopefully we can keep that going. We're trying adjustments here with it. So appreciate y'all, and we'll do it again tomorrow night.